Morning all, welcome to the morning after show. The morning after the night before, and what a weird night that was. What a weird game. A lot to talk about. Unfortunately, it's a second loss on the trot for Newcastle United. In a game that was there for the taking. 3 points dropped. I'm reluctant to say 3 points dropped because at no point in the game were we ahead. Obviously, we lost 1-0. We didn't score a goal. Definitely a point dropped. So looking at the team sheet, 4-3-3. I thought it was a positive 11. I thought it was a strong 11. A Dubravka in goal. Our sort of preferred back four at the moment. Emil Kraft at right back. Fabian Schär, Dan Burn and Matty Target at left back. Then you had a midfield three of Joe Willock, Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes. So two of the usual three, with Jonjo Shelvey missing, and Bruno is more than capable of filling in. And then you had a front three of Miggy Almiron, Ryan Fraser and Chris Wood. Was I happy with that selection? Yeah, probably was, in fairness. There's no like massive problems I can see there. The only thing I prefer Jacob Murphy as opposed to Miggy Almiron. Now I know Miggy's an international and all this sort of stuff, but you know, come on, let's have a bit of perspective here. It's a lot easier to play for Paraguay than it is to play for England. But yeah, I just don't I don't trust Miggy anymore. I mean, yeah, I just don't. He didn't do anything majorly wrong last night, but he slows things down. He dithers a little bit. He did make it a really, really positive run and a decent-ish, well, yeah, decent ball into the box. He got around the back of Everton's left back. But I just think he's one of those, his days at Newcastle are seriously numbered now. Anyway, the start of the game, kick-off was electric. The Everton supporters were well up for it. I was watching it on the TV at work, and I thought the telly was going to come off the fucking wall at kick-off. It was so loud. Excuse me. Everton made a really positive start. I think they had a corner after like 5 minutes, and the crowd were up. They were cheering every corner, every pass, every throw in, every contribution. They were really cheering. After about 10-15 minutes, I thought Newcastle quietened the crowd down. We started pinging the ball around nicely, and up until probably the last 5 minutes of the first half, Newcastle were not quite dominant, but were, you know, by far the more cohesive, coherent team. You know, like I said, we were knocking the ball around really nicely knocking the ball around, playing some good passes left to right, interchanging in the midfield. Bruno was getting on the ball a lot more. Bruno played a couple of fantastic balls down the right hand side, and if Emil Kraft, if it was not slating Emil Kraft, if it was Kieran Trippier playing right back, I think we could have got a lot more from that. But Emil Kraft, no, he chased everything, and he put the work in, so you can't get on his back too much. Everton looked a little toothless in attack, to be honest. Richarlison was rolling around on the floor at every fucking opportunity, prompting the Newcastle fans to chant, "You're just a shit Joe Linton," to him. Going down soft. Anthony Gordon, the young lad in midfield, was making himself known, let's put it that way. He was steaming around. At one point, he and Fraser collided in the middle of the park. Old school tackle, which, from, you know, it's not from my generation growing up watching football, getting into football in the noughties. You know, that used to be commonplace, and going back previous generations even more. You know, back in the 70s, that would have been seen as a soft tackle probably. But we didn't create any major chances. I think Chris Wood had Chris Wood had a decent opportunity with his head. Dan Burn, I think, might have had a header from the corner. We've had a few little bits, but nothing major. But we looked in control. Everton had a couple of corners towards the end of the first half, and it did feel a bit of a relief to get into half time at 0-0. Now that might just be the leftover negative pessimism of the previous regimes. You know, obviously under the previous management and previous ownership. You know, if you were away from home and you got into half time at 0-0, it was going very, very well. You know, under the previous ownership and management, if you went 1-0 down, you would not win that game. Your draw was the best you could hope for. So it was then, right, the second half. I've seen a lot of people online suggesting that the Stop Oil Now protester was manufactured, that it was a planned move by maybe not the Everton management and the Everton players, but by the Everton public, the Everton fan base, to give Everton a bit of breathing space. Bollocks. That's not true. It can't be, and I'll tell you why. So for those of you, if anyone's watching this, probably all my 2 subscribers, if anyone's watching this who didn't watch the game, so round about the 49th, 48th minute, this lad, bit of a strange looking geezer, but anyway, the play stops and the camera's focused on the middle of the pitch, and you hear the commentators describe that someone's on the pitch. Now, because the camera wasn't panning to it, those of us watching the game assumed it was a streaker or something like that. You know, I don't think we were quite at the 9 o'clock watershed by that point. But it turns out it's a protester, and on his orange t-shirt he had "Stop Oil Now," I think with a hashtag "Save Our Future," then like a URL at the top for the, you know, internet hyperlink sort of thing, and "Stop Oil Now," yeah, hashtag "Save Our Future," and he cable tied himself to to the Everton goal, to the right hand post, but with a fucking great red cable tie around his neck. And he'd done that himself, you know, rapid obviously, because how did no one notice? Questions about where were the stewards, you know, was this allowed to happen, how did no one notice? Regardless, it took them a significant amount of time to cut through this bloody cable tie. You had an old boy come on with large bolt croppers. He couldn't do it. Then this other bloke who's turned into a bit of a meme was there chanting away with his teeth out, like having a fucking go, giving it sticks, giving it stacks rather. And yeah, they eventually got this guy free. Now, the 2 main reasons I don't think it was planned from a footballing perspective is, firstly, apparently something like that nearly happened at the Arsenal-Liverpool match the other night. Obviously, the staff at the Emirates were a bit more fucking clued up to what's actually going on. And secondly, as they've cut this bloke loose now, he's sort of gone to... Police haven't seized him straight away. He's just sort of like a child. I can only describe it as a child who is throwing a tantrum in the middle of the supermarket. They just sort of slump to the floor and you're trying to pick them up and they're just like dead weight, you know. Gone to do that, and as they've gone to pick him up again, this other questionable looking fella, obviously a bit bevied up, jumps out the Everton stand and goes to fucking fill him in, goes to attack him. So whether this guy just wasn't clued up with the plan, or that could be the case, but I don't think it was. I just think it was a protest, obviously to do with oil, whether it's oil prices, fossil fuels, non-renewable energy, all that sort of stuff. yeah, I don't think it was a planned move by Everton Football Club in any stretch of the imagination. Did that upset our rhythm? It was, I think, play stopped for about 9 minutes. There was 14 minutes added on. I think play stopped for about 8 or 9 minutes, but we carried on. Everton looked a little bit more comfortable, but we were still playing some nice football. Then came the turning point. Everton are building in confidence, and Alan, the Brazilian midfielder, gets sent off for a rash tackle or challenge on Alan Saint-Maximin. Now, I was having to at this point I was having to watch it on my phone because I was travelling somewhere. See, someone else was driving, obviously, and it glitched. And when it came back, it was at VAR, and I thought, fucking hell, yeah, might get someone sent off here. Brilliant. For our point of view, we can maybe push on and get a goal here and win the game. I would have been happy with a 0-0 at this point, because although we played well, we hadn't played well in terms of possession. We hadn't created much, and Goodison Park was rocking. So I thought, get away with a 0-0 draw here. 4 away games on the bounce. We won at Southampton. Should have got something at the World and Club European Champions. Nicked the draw at Goodison Park, who were scrapping for their lives. You think that's not, I know it's 4 points out of 9, but that's not a bad return in the circumstances. So I saw the referee with a yellow card in his hand, and I thought, actually, yeah, that's probably a second yellow. Yeah, I probably agree with that, because he was off the ground. He caught Maxi. It wasn't the worst tackle in the world, to be honest. But it turns out it was a straight red from the referee, which referee made a few mistakes last night, and that was one of them. No way was that a straight red. I felt a bit bad for Everton for about 2 seconds, because obviously they're the enemy at the time. You want to beat them. But if that was a Newcastle player, I'd be fucking livid. That was nowhere near a straight red card. Obviously the yellow, he had to cancel out the other yellow to make it a straight red. All that gumph, which I didn't know was the case till last night after the game. But that, in my opinion, was the worst thing to happen, because at that point it looked like I'm not saying there was any complacency in the ranks, but the boys switched off a little bit. It was almost like, right, we've got 10 minutes left to play, near enough. We've got 10 minutes left to play. Let's just ping it around. We're up against 10 men. They're going to run themselves silly. Let's just. We're home and dry near enough. We just got to see through the last 10 minutes. Everton up the intensity again, and then we managed to sort of survive to the 90th minute, playing some decent football, but we're not. When we're passing it well, but we're giving it away too much. Then the ball goes up. 14 minutes added time. 14 minutes, obviously thanks to this stop oil process there. And yeah, long and short of it, Everton produced the one moment of attacking quality that they produced in the whole 105 fucking minutes, and nick the win. Alex Iwobi, nice, skips past the midfielder, nice 1-2, decent finish. I think Dubravka might be a little bit disappointed. The placement of the shot wasn't fantastic, but to be fair, he hit it at a decent pace, decent power on the shot. And there you go, kick in the teeth. Did anyone really stand out? I thought first half, everyone was excellent, or everyone was very good. Certain players were excellent. I thought Joe Linton looked back to what he was 2 or 3 weeks ago before he got ill or whatever. Bruno played some beautiful passes. Chris Wood was clever, winning fouls, getting us up the pitch. Matty Target was whipping the ball in beautiful at corners. Emil Kraft was steady. The 2 centre-backs were steady. I thought it was good. Second half, we just looked a bit disjointed. Whether the boys had started to think about going to Dubai tomorrow or whatever. that's obviously no excuse. But let's have it right. Everton were there for the fucking taking last night. They produced one moment of quality, and they've managed to take 3 points off a team in form. Okay, the game previous to last night, we got beat, but we played well that day. We certainly played better against Chelsea than we did against Everton, without a doubt. Frustrating, really frustrating. But let's look at it in hindsight. Let's look at it in perspective. I think I saw somewhere online we've won 20 points out of the last 30 available from a team that was dead and fucking buried pretty much. We were bottom of the table at one point. We were 19th for a significant amount of time. Dead search for relegation. It was Norwich, Newcastle and who else? I'm not going to slate the boys too much, because let's be honest, that's our third away game on the trot. We've beaten Southampton, who were on good form, bar the 4-0 thrashing by Aston Villa. We've gone toe-to-toe with Chelsea, the world and European champions, the Champions League holders, quality team from back to front. And the referee has not given us a stonewall penalty, and the guy who scored a fantastic goal, in fairness, should not have been on the pitch. Then we've gone up against Goodison Park, against Everton at Goodison Park, where the atmosphere's been incredible. It's a team scrapping for their lives, and although they did deserve to win the game because they scored a goal, but in terms of overall performance, we were probably the better team. If we'd raised our performance another 10%, we would have won that game. However, extenuating circumstances. Perspective, people. I've seen a lot of people online giving this team shit, saying, "Oh, the shit last night. Maxi would come on with shit." Yeah, he come on. He wasn't great. He looks like a bloke who needs to switch more into the team ethic. Take a leaf out of Ryan Fraser's book. I'm not saying we're going to want him to graft for 90 minutes, because that's not what Maxi's about. That's not his strengths. However, he does need to improve in those areas. But we've got a long time now till the next game. I think the next game is Tottenham away, April the 3rd. Boys are going to Dubai, warm weather training. We all know the last time they went abroad to Saudi, they came back, a completely different team, revitalised, confident. All the players are going out, even the players that are injured. Trippier will be out there. Callum Wilson is going to be out there. What I'm saying is, there's no need to panic. We're not safe yet by any stretch, but our next 4 games, we've got 3 at home. So we played Tottenham away April the 3rd, Wolves at home, which I'm going up for, 8th of April, which coincidentally is my birthday as well. So our 3 games on the trot at St James's Park will be Wolverhampton Wanderers, Leicester City and Crystal Palace. Now, I think we're capable of beating all 3 of those teams. I think realistically we're looking at 2 wins out of 3 there. So we're not far away from guaranteeing our survival. I think we're on 31 points, yeah? 3 more wins will get us to that magical 40 points, of which not teams have survived on less in recent seasons. So I think there's something like 8 or 9 games left. No need to panic. We're not safe yet by any stretch, but we have shown a vast improvement. Previous Newcastle sides going to Goodison under that atmosphere would have wilted under the pressure. I promise you. And anyone watching this who support the team for any period of time will know that I'm spitting facts there, real talk. But yeah, the boys have done really well to climb out into this position. The very fact that we're disappointed with not beating Everton at St James's Park shows improvement, surely. Perspective, homies. They could have played better. Hey ho. go to Dubai now, refresh. The team are going to gel even tighter. Hopefully we're going to see some good footage and pictures and whatnot of the boys training. As a side note, I heard Callum Wilson, Eddie said in his presser on Wednesday, Callum Wilson has been running on grass again. Obviously still a significant period time away from a return, but the fact that he's running on grass again, I'm no sports scientist or physio, but I would say that that's an encouraging step, that he's out the gym running on grass or jogging on grass. So there we go, things are looking up. Yeah, unfortunate to lose against Everton, extremely unfortunate to lose against Chelsea, but Tottenham next, 3rd of April, as I've said. 2 and a bit weeks from now. Warm weather training Dubai, and hopefully we come back refreshed, ready to go. John Joe should be back by then, so we've got a 5 central midfielders to choose from: John Joe Shelby, Bruno, Joe Linton, Joe Willett, Sean Longstaff. So it's looking good. It's looking fucking good. Disappointed, but look at the bigger picture. The points we've accrued in the last 10 games is superb. I think in the last 10 games we won 6, drawn 2 and lost 2. That's fucking good. That's like knocking on the door of top 4, if not knocking on the door of top 3 quality. You know, the only teams who would look at that and go, would probably be City and Liverpool. That's unbelievable form. Let's not get too bogged down with a couple of losses on the bounce when you look at the context and the bigger picture. Anyway, signing out. Cheers.